Hello, my name is Gurman, and this is my career speech. Have you ever seen a movie or a TV show where someone or a person alters another person's life or changes it in a drastic way? Well, it doesn't only happen in TV shows or movies, it also happens every day in real life. The career I'm talking about is a lawyer, and what lawyers do is they fight legal battles for different type of clients, from ranging from civil matters to criminal charges. I will cover in this speech what a lawyer does exactly in more detail. What is the educational background and requirement to become a lawyer, and what is the salary expectations for it, as well as why the career matters to me and why it piqued my interest. So, what does a lawyer do? Well, a lawyer fights legal battles, as I've mentioned, ranging from civil matters, such as matters involving money and contracts and businesses, ranging to criminal charges, where they can either protect or prosecute a criminal. So, criminal lawyers, and I mentioned all of these above, but there's way more branches to law other than criminal, corporate, and family. But these are the three I'll cover for this speech, because if I try and cover the rest of them, the speech will be 20 minutes. So criminal law involves either prosecuting or defending a criminal or supposed criminal. Corporate law is law involving businesses and negotiations, contracts, and mergers, all of that stuff. And family law involves divorces, child custody cases as well. It just involves a lot of the family matters. And while lawyers do have different branches, they can also later on become professors or judges. And so the potential for a lawyer to work from a lot of places, such as a law firm or courthouse, or for example, even a university or school to teach law. And all of this is according to the the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So we get to the question of how do you become a lawyer, if anyone's interested. And it is not a hard path, but it is a long one. And it requires you to get a bachelor's degree in any subject. And this can be any major, right? You can be a philosophy major, political science, medical, pre-med, and any of them can do it. As long as you have a bachelor's degree, which is 4 years in a university. Then you have to take the LSAT, which is a law school entrance exam, or attending exam. And after that, if you get a good enough score, you can apply to a law school. And after you get accepted, you have to do 3 years in law school, which is a total of 7 years if we're taking it as a whole. And after that, you get a Juris Doctor, and then you're allowed to take the bar exam, and it's a state bar exam. So if you're trying to practice law in, say, Washington State, it's different from practicing law in California. And if you're moving to a different state, you'd have to take their own state's bar exam. You can't do law work in other states. And then after that, you become a licensed attorney, and you have to find a career, right? Because if you don't find a career, you won't make any money. So you preferably start specializing in different branches. You can specialize in a lot of them, or the three that I mentioned. After that, you continue legal education, and what I mean by this is you still have to keep up with all the local laws and all the local regulations that change in your state that you practice in. It is important for lawyers to always constantly be looking and updating their information, as in their knowledge information on a law, because it could change the outcome of a trial. It could break a different precedent. And a precedent is a case that happened, and it guides all the judges in this direction. And when a law changes, the precedent can go away, which means the lawyer cannot bring up that same precedent, which is a common issue and why lawyers need to stay in touch with the new updates on the law. So, talking salary wise, most lawyers, a median salary, like the average, is 145,000. But for like high end lawyers such as corporate law or white collar crime, so corporate, as I've mentioned, is like business negotiations. If you're in a really successful business firm or a law firm that has a lot of businesses that use it, it generates a lot of money and they're able to pay lawyers that have higher experience and higher knowledge more money. As well as you have white collar crime that I didn't mention here, but it's also one that gets paid a lot. And white collar crime is say a stock exchange happens and it's an illegal stock exchange, and there's criminal charges. So a white collar crime gets prosecuted, and normally those high end clients hire a more expensive lawyer that has higher odds than a public defender, because a public defender has to juggle a lot of cases. They have like 3 to 6 cases at all times happening, while a white collar criminal lawyer has only this one case and he's able to give it all of its attention, which generates a higher odds of the person not being charged with the crime. There is 60 to 80,000 for public defenders, and as I mentioned, a nonprofit. While people would say that they work a lot of hours and they juggle a lot of cases, it's not a really rewarding career because it's a government job, and government jobs don't pay too much normally. So their career is limited to 60 to 80,000, but that's constantly changing, and now they're getting paid a little bit more because there's more government funding for those jobs. However, nonprofits don't really change because nonprofits is more like legal work that you do for free, and that work doesn't get paid a lot, so that won't really change, and it's going to be 60,000 to 80,000 consistently for nonprofits. All of this information is according to the U.S. News and World Report. They do career like metrics and how much they make. And before I go to the next slide, the reason the career interests me is because I love arguing, and fighting for justice is kind of a thing that I always love doing. I always like to see justice happen, and the career of a lawyer is very justice oriented, and you have to argue in court and do a lot of cases, which I just find really interesting. It's definitely going to be a career that I'm going to pursue in the future, to be a lawyer. Thank you so much for listening.